So our number here, 855-450-FREE. We go right back into your phone calls about what you want. Let's talk to Chris, listening in Charleston, South Carolina, to WSC-FM. Hey, Chris, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, great. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm just calling in about the issue with the flag and how you guys are saying it's unchristian to, I guess, pledge of allegiance to the flag. Is that correct?
I think so.
I wouldn't be able to say whether or not it is Christian or not because I can't speak from that point of view.
Well, I used to be a Christian.
Make an argument.
I used to be a Christian, Mark, and I think you did as well. I would say it's not only is it unchristian, it's also un-Muslim in addition to worship the flag.
Well, I think there's a difference between worshiping Jesus or worshiping God as a Christian would and pledging allegiance to the flag. I think pledging allegiance to the flag is just merely a way to show your support and to, show your allegiance to a country, whereas, praying to a God is a deeper devotion and a more, I would say that would be, I guess that would be more devotional to a higher God. I just don't understand how you guys can argue or can compare the fact that, one who would pledge of allegiance to the flag would be kind of going against their Christianity.
I would concur with you that prayer can be more devotional than the simple rote saying of the same thing over and over again. But you are aware that some Christians say the same prayers over and over again, and that they call that prayer to God. Some Christians say nothing, and they communicate with God and sort of without using words at all. And some Babylon in this nonsense tongues thing. And so I concur that you can, but do you see that some Christians do say rote prayers over and over again?
I do see that, and I don't want to call that complacency. I guess without maybe I can take that back and call that would be complacency, but I just don't see how you can liken that to saying the Pledge of Allegiance, which is more of like a patriotic thing.
I can see how you're making the division in your mind, and it's a convenient way to avoid the the cognitive dissonance that might come up. But that's fine. Let's put that aside and just look at the practicality of the Pledge of Allegiance. So aside from the religious objection to it, which I still think is reasonable, but let's look at the practicality of it. You said you're just pledging your allegiance to to the country or whatever I'm not sure exactly the words, but you said you're just pledging your
patriotic.
Allegiance. Why would you want to pledge your allegiance to a group of killers and thieves?
Are you calling the United States of America killers and thieves?
Oh, no, you're not pledging to the United States of America. You're pledging to its politicians.
Something that you guys said earlier was that a flag was a symbol for military, and I think in a way it is a rallying cry for military, but I don't think by pledging allegiance to the flag in any respect that I'm pledging allegiance to the politicians that represent me. I'm pledging allegiance to the 100 years of history and those who have come before to pave the way that the American way is.
Well, the United States of America is a political designation. It's not a plot of land.
Well, wait a second here. I've got to jump in on this one. How can you pledge allegiance to dead people? You can only pledge allegiance to a group, and that group is led by its politicians. When you pledge to the republic for which it stands, you're pledging to its government. Isn't that clear?
Yes. The government is the figuremental head, but I'm pledging allegiance to a tradition. I'm pledging allegiance to a history, and
that's what they want you to pledge to. That's what they want. That's what they want you to believe.
Politicians are the leaders of that. That's your prerogative, but every time I put my
disprove my statement. No. Don't say that I have the right to think what I want to think. Please show me how I'm thinking incorrectly, because I believe firmly that when one pledges to the flag, that one is pledging to the government of this country. And as far as I'm concerned, and most Americans agree, that the country is well on the wrong track. 90% believe that Congress no longer has a mandate to rule, and that puts me firmly in the majority here. I believe that the politicians tend to be a group of liars and thieves.
And I would argue that there's many people who would agree with that, but at the same time, when I pledge allegiance to the flag, I am in no means, representing.
All right, well, let's step back again. Are you familiar with the Japanese
country? And I guess you could make the argument that politicians.
So you're pledging to the history?
No. But I just. I think that you're taking it out of context and making it fantastical to say that.
Well, I just want to understand where you're coming from. You're saying you're pledging to the history of the country?
I'm pledging to the history of the country and what this country represents. And I see that you guys are trying to make the fantastic argument that
it's fantastic
politicians
now.
And Congress.
You
and
can't rebut my argument, but it's fantastic. Are you familiar with Japanese Shinto, the Shinto religion, its ancestor worship?
No, sir, I am not.
Okay, so in Japan, they worship their ancestors through prayer and candle lighting and all this kind of thing. So if you're worshiping dead Americans who have paved the way, what's the difference between your pledging allegiance to the flag in obeisance to these dead Americans and this Japanese Shinto and ancestor worship?
Because I'm in no way worshiping those who have died. I worship my God and I worship Jesus. I'm not worshiping those that have died.
Theirs is more of a respect.
Pledging allegiance and saying, I stand up for and I believe in the American way. And by pledging allegiance, that's my way. That's the small token of appreciation.
Tell me what the American way is.
People who have secured my free way of life. And
cool. I'm glad you feel like you're free, because I don't. But what is the American way?
I mean, are you not free to say what you're saying right now on air?
Oh, I'm free to say what I'm saying right now on air, but I'm not free to live my life how I want so long as I don't harm anyone else. People will. I'm regularly threatened with being put in a cage, sir.
Isn't that an American way?
I'm sorry, say again?
You guys are saying this, and in certain countries,
just because I have more freedom than some other people. Hold on. Just because
allows us to have this argument on
Chris,
air for
just because we have the freedom to have an argument doesn't mean we're free. I was threatened with arrest just last week because I was video recording a police officer who pulled someone over. We have people who I'm being threatened with arrest constantly by these people calling themselves the government. They are putting peaceful people in cages all around this country.
The United States has slipped down to 47th in press freedom in the world.
It's not even in the top 10 of the freest countries in the world. Thank you, by the way, Chris, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. You enjoy your flag. 855-450-FREE. That's the SACL CAI toll-free line. You can take control of the airwaves. And, of course, when you're thinking about the past, don't think about any of the innocent people the government has crushed, killed, or lives they've destroyed. Free Talk Live.